Hi, come on in. You must be Daniel. It is really nice to meet you.
Hi, yes, that is me. Thank you so much for seeing me today.
Of course. Please have a seat and make yourself comfortable. Can I get you anything before we start? Water, perhaps?
No, I'm fine, thank you. I appreciate that.
Great. So, I just want to say before we begin that this is a completely relaxed and open space. There are no wrong answers here. Everything you share stays between us. My job is simply to help you think things through.
That is really good to hear. I have to be honest, I was a little nervous coming in today.
That's completely normal. Most people feel that way at first. It actually takes real courage to sit down and look honestly at where you are in your career. Give yourself credit for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Of course. Now, tell me a little about yourself. Where are you working right now, and what brought you here today?
I work in data entry at a logistics company. I've been there for about 3 years. The job is stable, the pay is reasonable, but honestly, I wake up every morning and I feel nothing. No excitement, no motivation. I just feel like I'm going through the motions every single day.
Going through the motions. That's a very honest way to put it. Thank you for sharing that. Can you tell me a bit more about what a typical day looks like for you?
I get in, I sit at my desk, I enter data from spreadsheets into the company system, I answer a few emails, I have lunch, and then I do more of the same until it's time to go home. There's nothing wrong with the work exactly, it just doesn't mean anything to me.
I hear you. That feeling, that sense that the work doesn't connect to anything meaningful inside you, that's actually one of the most common things people come to me with. And it's important. It tells us something.
What does it tell you?
It tells me that you have values and you have interests that your current role is simply not meeting. That's not a personal failure. That's actually very useful information. It's a signal, not a sentence.
A signal. I like that way of thinking about it.
Exactly. So let me ask you this. When you were growing up, or even just in your personal life outside of work, what kinds of things genuinely interested you? What made you feel alive?
That's a big question. Let me think. I've always loved talking to people. I enjoy listening to other people's stories. I'm curious about why people make the decisions they make. I like helping my friends work through problems. And I've always been interested in psychology, though I never studied it formally.
That's fascinating. You enjoy connecting with people, understanding them, helping them. Would you say those feel like natural strengths for you, not just interests?
Yes, I think so. People often come to me when they have a problem. My friends call me a good listener. I never really thought of that as a skill before, to be honest.
It absolutely is a skill, and a valuable one. Active listening, empathy, the ability to help someone feel understood, these are core competencies in a wide range of professional fields. They're not soft skills in the dismissive sense, they're genuinely powerful professional tools.
I never heard the term core competencies before. What does that mean exactly?
Core competencies are the key abilities and strengths that make someone effective in a particular role or field. Think of them as your professional superpowers, the things you do well almost naturally that others genuinely need.
Okay, that makes sense. So my ability to listen and connect with people, that counts as a core competency.
Absolutely, it does. And combined with your natural curiosity about human behavior, those qualities could be a very strong foundation for a career shift. Have you ever thought about what kind of work might actually energize you?
I have thought about it, yes. I sometimes wonder about counseling, or maybe human resources, or even teaching in some way. But I always tell myself it's too late to change direction, or that I'm not qualified enough.
That's a very common thought, and I want to gently push back on it. It's almost never too late, and qualification is not always the barrier people imagine it to be. Many career transitions are more achievable than people think when they're planned strategically.
Strategically. How do you mean?
A strategic career transition means looking honestly at what you already have, your experience, your skills, your knowledge, and identifying how those things connect to where you want to go. You don't always need to start from zero. Sometimes you're closer than you think.
That's actually reassuring to hear. I always imagined I would have to go back to school for years and give up my income entirely.
That's one path, but it's not the only path. Depending on the direction you choose, there may be shorter certification programs, volunteer opportunities, part-time study options, or even ways to move within your current organization into a role that fits you better. Let's explore that.
I would really like that.
Let me ask you something else. When you imagine your ideal working day, not a perfect fantasy, but a realistic, good day at work, what does it look like?
I'm in a role where I'm talking to people one-on-one. I'm helping them solve a real problem in their life. I feel like what I do matters. At the end of the day, I go home feeling like I contributed something.
That's a beautifully clear picture, and what you just described maps very naturally onto roles in career counseling, life coaching, human resources, social work, mental health support, or community development. Each of those fields values exactly the qualities you described earlier.
Really? I didn't realize there were so many options.
There are more paths than most people realize. The key is understanding your own profile clearly first, and then matching that profile to the right environment. That's exactly what we are starting to do right now.
Can I ask, what is the difference between career counseling and life coaching? I always thought they were the same thing.
Great question. Career counseling tends to focus more specifically on professional development, job searching, career planning, and skills assessment. Life coaching is broader and often covers personal goals, mindset, relationships, and lifestyle. There's some overlap, but they're distinct fields with different training paths and different typical client needs.
That's helpful. I think I'm more drawn to the career side, honestly. Helping people find meaningful work, that feels important to me.
That tells me something important about your values. You believe that work should be meaningful, and that belief will actually make you very effective in that kind of role because you'll understand your clients on a personal level.
I hadn't thought of it that way. My own experience could actually be an asset.
Exactly. Lived experience is incredibly valuable in helping professions. The fact that you've felt stuck, that you've navigated uncertainty, that you understand what it feels like to want more from your career, that makes you relatable and credible in a very human way.
That genuinely makes me feel better about where I am right now.
Good. Now let's talk practically. If you were to take a first step toward exploring this direction, what feels most manageable to you?
Maybe doing some research first, looking into what kind of qualifications are actually required, and perhaps talking to someone already working in that field.
Both of those are excellent starting points. Informational interviews are incredibly useful at this stage. That's when you reach out to someone already in your target field and ask for a short conversation to learn about their experience. Most people are very willing to share their journey if you ask respectfully.
Informational interviews. I've heard the phrase, but I was never sure exactly what it meant.
An informational interview is simply a conversation, not a job interview, where you ask someone about their career path, their daily work, and the realities of their field. You're gathering information, not asking for a job. It removes a lot of pressure and gives you real insight that you can't get from a website.
That sounds much less frightening than I imagined. I could do that.
You absolutely could, and you already have the most important skill for it. You're a good listener. People will enjoy talking to you.
I appreciate that. Can I ask, what about my current job? Should I leave immediately or stay while I explore?
That's a very practical question. In most cases, I recommend staying in your current role while you build your plan. Financial stability gives you options. Rushing into a change without preparation can create unnecessary pressure. Think of your current job as funding your transition, not trapping you.
I like that reframe, funding my transition. That makes it feel more intentional.
That's exactly the mindset. Every day you go into that job and do it well, you're buying yourself the time and security to make a thoughtful move rather than a desperate one.
That's genuinely comforting. I've been seeing my job as a prison, but that's a much healthier way to look at it.
Our relationship with our current situation often changes when we feel like we have a plan and a direction. The same circumstances can feel very different when you feel agency over them.
Agency. That's the word I've been missing. A sense that I have some control over where I end up.
And you do. You absolutely do. That's one thing I want you to leave here knowing with confidence today.
I feel more hopeful already, genuinely, and I came in here feeling quite low.
That's wonderful to hear. Hope is not just a feeling, it's actually a motivational resource. When you feel hopeful, you're more likely to take action, and action is what creates real change.
Before we finish, can I ask about one more thing? How do I handle it if people in my life don't support the idea of a career change? My family, for example, is very focused on stability.
That is such a human concern, and I hear it often. The most important thing is to be clear and confident about your reasoning when you talk to them. Share your plan, not just your feelings. When people see that you have thought things through carefully, that you have a strategy and not just a dream, they tend to respond much better.
Show them the plan, not just the emotion.
Exactly. And remember that ultimately, this is your career and your life. The people who love you want you to be well. When they see your energy and your clarity, many of them will come around. Some may even surprise you.
That is reassuring. I think I have been afraid to even bring it up because I expected resistance straight away.
That fear is understandable, but silence does not protect you from the conversation, it just delays it. And the longer you wait, the bigger the conversation feels in your mind. Often the real thing is much smaller than the imagined version.
That is so true. My imagination tends to make everything much harder than it actually is.
Most people are the same way. It's a very human thing. The anticipation of difficulty is often harder than the difficulty itself.
This has been an incredibly helpful session. I feel like I came in carrying something heavy and I'm leaving with a clearer head.
That's honestly one of the best things anyone can say at the end of a session. I'm really glad you came in today, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Maya. I mean that. You've given me a lot to think about, but in the best possible way. Not overwhelming, just clear.
That means a great deal. Now, here's what I would suggest for your next steps. Research 2 or 3 fields that genuinely interest you. Identify one person in each field you could reach out to for an informational interview, and write down your core strengths and what a meaningful workday looks like for you, just as you described it to me today. Keep it simple.
Research the fields, find one person in each to talk to, and write down my strengths and my ideal day. I can do all of that.
I know you can. And when you've done those things, come back and we'll take the next step together. This is a process, not a single moment. Be patient and kind with yourself along the way.
I will. Thank you again. I really needed this today.
It was my genuine pleasure. Take care of yourself, Daniel. I look forward to hearing how things unfold for you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Take good care.